Going on, everybody? It's Hefty here with another Comic Talk with Hefty, and today we're going to be talking about a uh, a classic Marvel story that you should be reading, especially this month. We're going to be talking about an amazing independent series that you need to be reading soon because it's about to blow up even bigger than it already is. And we're going to be talking about a current Marvel Comics series that you can get into on the ground floor because it just recently started. So here is another Comic Talk with Hefty and the first week of Thor month. The first one we're going to start off with here is the classic Marvel story you have to read. This one is related to Thor in a big way. I picked this one because we're getting closer and closer to Thor Love and Thunder, which comes out in about a month. And it appears like a lot of the story is going to be based off of Jason Aaron's classic Thor God of Thunder run that ran from 2012 to 2014. This, for me personally, was where I fell in love with Thor. I've known Thor for decades. I've known him as an Avenger. I've known that he's had his own comic book series off and on, but I've never really been that interested in Thor's individual stories. I thought he was kind of boring. And you got to understand that in the comics, the Thor comics were always a little more bland, in my opinion. The hype that has built up with Thor since Ragnarok came out, and basically his character was reinvented for the third movie with that sense of humor, I absolutely love. But that's not typically something that you would see in the comic books. But I like Jason Aaron, who's the writer. I like Esad Rabik, who is the artist on this. And when this first came out back in 2012, my interest was piqued because it looked like it had more of a Conan the Barbarian type of feel, which I thought was really fitting for the character. I want to check it out, and oh man, I'm so glad I did. It's got a real epic feel, and if you just even do a little bit of looking at the Thor God of Thunder online and look at some of the artwork, you'll see exactly what I mean. It has a real epic Conan, Lord of the Rings type feel just with the artwork alone. But the writing is fantastic too. This is the first volume I'm showing you right now, which is called The God Butcher. The God Butcher is Gore, who is the villain in Thor: Love and Thunder, and this is his introduction. And his whole deal is, as you'll learn as the series goes on, is he has a real personal vendetta against the gods, just in general. You know, there's a pantheon of gods. There's the Norse gods, there's the Greek gods, there's the Aztec gods, and of course, they're all in Marvel Comics. I mean, any god you can think of has been a Marvel comic character at one point or another. And Gore, the God Butcher, is going after all of them. His mission is to kill all the gods because he feels that they have let down uh, their their worshippers, their followers. This is the introduction to that, and it's also a little bit of a uh, wacky time travel storyline where you will be following three versions of Thor throughout the story, and this is actually throughout the rest of the series. There's the current, contemporary, nowadays Thor. There's a young Thor, and there is the old Thor, basically at the end of the universe, who has taken over as king from Odin in his last days. And you'll follow the storylines of these three Thors and see how thematically they intersect with the overall story that's being told. So, like I said, this is the first volume. This is going to be real important concerning the upcoming movie. If you're interested, I definitely suggest checking it out. But the entire series, which ran for 2 years, had I think 24 or 25 issues. The whole thing is amazing. Definitely worth reading. I love Thor. It's now one of my favorite comics to read every month as it comes out, and it's all because I started with this series. So definitely check it out. I did see that it's currently, I think because of the hype, hard to find a physical copy on Amazon. It is free via the Kindle or Comixology app. But I'm pretty sure that with the movie coming out, Marvel is planning on re-releasing the trade paperbacks, the hardcovers, the omnibuses, etc. So keep an eye out for that. As always, check with your local comic shop, see if they can help you out. Otherwise, I'm sure there's a bunch of places online like eBay and things like that you might be able to find a copy. All right, next up for our independent comic of the week, and I almost feel bad calling this an independent comic because that kind of intonates that not a lot of people know about it. But this is the OG independent comic, in my opinion. I'm talking about uh, Neil Gaiman's magnum opus, Sandman. And if you haven't seen the trailer for the Netflix show, go check it out. Especially check it out after you read the first volume, Preludes and Nocturnes. Some of the shots they have are like spitting image from the comics. Very excited about that. But this is an incredible series. It is uh, the only comic book or graphic novel to win the Hugo Science Fiction Award for Literature. This ran from, I believe, 88 to mid 90s. I want to say like 90, 95, 96. Ran for 75 issues. It is a full story, beginning, middle, and end. And all right, so what's it about, right? So uh, the idea is that there are seven aspects of existence. And in this series, they are personified. They have a um, human image, right? But they are actually the aspects of reality. They're called the endless. And we got Dream, which is Sandman, the main character, Destiny, Death, Despair, Desire, Delirium, and Destruction. Those are the seven. And this is just an incredible story that is so grand in scale, talking about uh, how all these aspects affect humanity in general. It involves basically any sort of mythology you can think of, from the Asgardians, the Norse mythology, Egyptian mythology, uh, everything. It the actual plot starts with Dream being released from an imprisonment after several decades and trying to rebuild his kingdom, and all the things that have gone wrong since he's been imprisoned. Nightmares are running rampant, things like that. But it's also a very intimate story. It follows quite a few characters um, that are just like regular human people living their human lives, and you see them change and grow throughout the story. Sometimes directly, sometimes a little more indirectly, that have come into contact with Dream or with some of the other aspects. I mean, stories about uh, grown children having to deal with the death of their parents, relationships. In some ways, it was very ahead of its time. There's a lot of um, mature themes concerning sexual identity, uh, uh, things like that in this series. And it's just an extremely fun read, and the payoff at the end is incredible. Even when there's the filler stories, right? Like uh, flashback stories to how Dream may have interacted with Persian kings, or his run-in with Bill Shakespeare and helping him write a play, that have payoffs as the series goes on. It's one of the greatest overall stories I've ever had the pleasure of reading. And I do want to warn you, the first volume is incredible. It's a lot of building, a lot of setup. As the series goes on, if you enjoy it, as you go on and get into the rest of the volumes, which there's 10 of, it actually gets better. Um, For me, I constantly get into arguments with friends about whether Volume 4 or Volume 9 is the best. And I think we're both right. So please check that out. It is the 30th anniversary. They've re-released the first volume. Actually, I think all the volumes. The Netflix show will be starting up here in a couple months. Check it out. See what all the hype's about before you go into it. And I hope you enjoy it. It's my top five ever, definitely. Maybe even number one, even though that's kind of a normie thing to say when it comes to comic books. This is one of those that definitely lives up to the hype. And finally, my current comic recommendation of the week is the series Strange. So this is currently happening in Marvel Comics. There are three issues out right now. I think the fourth one's going to come out here in the next couple of weeks. And here's what's going on here. Spoiler alert. A few months ago, they finished up a miniseries called The Death of Doctor Strange. Why they decided to kill Doctor Strange right before his new movie came out, I don't know. I never understand what Marvel's doing with their cross promotional tie ins. It never makes any sense. I mean, why did they build up all of the Avengers movies in phase one and get everyone all hyped about the characters while they replaced Tony Stark, Steve Rogers, um, and Thor and heck even the Hulk in the comics. Why they did that so that people would really like Tony Stark and they walk into a comic book shop, ask to pick up an Iron Man comic, and there's a completely different person wearing the armor. I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking. But anyway, that's a little bit of a rant. So Doctor Strange is dead, and the new Sorcerer Supreme is his on again, off again love interest, his ex-wife Clea, who is the daughter of the Dread Dormammu, the ruler of the Dark Dimension. Clea has been a uh, classic Doctor Strange character since his inception. And spoiler alert for Doctor Strange, I'll give you 5 seconds. Clea is the character played by Charlize Theron in the post-credit scene of the second Doctor Strange movie. So Clea is now the Sorcerer Supreme, and she's always kind of walked this fine line between trying to be a good person, but she's got some built-in issues, based off of her upbringing. So she's trying to be a good sorcerer without letting her impulsive side taken over too much. And her main goal is to figure out some way to bring Steven back. Uh, she can't imagine life without him and wants to bring him back. So she's searching every which way now that she basically has all the magical powers of the universe at her fingertips to try and bring way back to him or bring him back and dealing with some interesting new villains that a couple issues in now, I'm not even quite sure what or who they are. I'm interested to see where the story goes. I mean, I'm on the same page as you guys. I don't know what's going to happen here, but I am enjoying it so far. It's written by Jed McKay. I've read some of his other stuff. I really enjoyed. He did an incredible Black Cat series out last year. That was probably one of my breakout sleeper hit favorites. So yeah, go check that out. That's still pretty new. You should be able to pick it up at any comic book store. And that's what I got for this week, guys. That's uh, Thor, the God of Thunder. We got Sandman, and we got Strange. Please check them out. Again, the links will be in the description as to where you can pick up the trades for Thor and Sandman. Strange you can pick up at your local comic shop here. You can also get the other trades at your local comic shop. Please support local businesses. Go to your local comic book shop. Tell them you're looking for the trades. I'm sure they're going to help you out. Uh, and I believe Sandman is also available on Comixology and Kindle, so you can get it there as well. But that's it, guys. That's all I have for this week. I will see you next week as we do week 2 of Thor month, where there will be another recommendation of Thor comic you should be checking out. Love you all. Enjoy. Happy reading. I'll talk to you later. See ya.